LightSpeed Quiz 2019, number 4 at Bletchingdon near Blenheim in Oxfordshire, overlooking the dreaming spires of this beautiful county, courtesy of Chris Curtis and our host Vincent. We're having a great time here. We got what have we got first, Chris?
First up we have arts, which incorporates art, architecture, food, language and literature. Okay. Everybody on green?
Yeah.
Splendid. Question 1. This painting was first shown at the Julian Levy Gallery in 1932, and since 1934 the painting has been in the collection of the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Like many paintings by the same artist, the craggy rocks to the right represent a tip of Cap de Creus Peninsula in northeastern Catalonia. Is Jack?
Persistence and memory.
Is correct. Question 2. This novel is set around the real 18th century Scottish events, notably the Appin murder, which occurred in the aftermath of the Jacobite Rising of 1745. Is Amit?
Heart of Midlothian.
Is incorrect. Michael?
Kidnapped.
Is correct.
Correct.
Question 3. This phrase, of French origin, but used in English, features erroneously in the Katy Perry song Last Friday Night. Is Andrew?
Ménage à trois.
Is correct.
Correct.
Now you're on my level.
Okay, question 4. Construction on this building was completed in spring 2014, and the 3-floor Sky Garden was opened in January 2015. Michael?
That the walkie-talkie.
It is the walkie-talkie, correct. Question 5. Classical versions of this dish use raw egg yolks cooked in a bain-marie and most often served with masala, though other wines can be substituted. It can be finished with beaten egg white or meringue. Is Steve?
Tiramisu.
Is incorrect.
Great way of saying it.
Wrong.
And Jack?
Baglioni.
Is correct. Question 6. A statue of this person stands in Place Jacques-Cartier, Montreal. There's a Grade 2 listed bronze statue of this person by Richard Westmacott, dating from 1809 in Birmingham. Another statue of this person in Dublin was severely damaged by Irish Republicans in 1966. Is Ashton?
Nelson.
Is correct.
How is that going to all end?
Correct.
Sculptured Edward Hodges Bailey RA from 3 pieces of Craigleith sandstone in Trafalgar Square. Okay, number 7. This museum opened its doors to the public on the 16th of June 1983. It is now part of the National Science Museum Group. It has 7 floors of galleries and exhibits with 7 permanent galleries, including Wonderlab, which explores light and sound through interactive exhibits and live experiments, and Life Online, which is the world's first. Is Andrew?
Eureka.
Is incorrect.
I wanted to say Eureka.
Wrong.
I was holding it there.
Is the world's first gallery dedicated to exploring the social, technological and cultural impact of the internet. The museum incorporates the first permanent UK installation of an IMAX cinema. Name this museum. Is Steve.
National Museum of Photography.
Yes. Yeah. It's currently called the National Science and Media Museum, but it's been the National Museum of Photography, Film and Television, and then the National Media Museum.
The first.
So yeah.
Of Navarre.
Correct.
Okay, question 8. William Shakespeare used them in a number of his plays, almost invariably spoken by comic, ill-educated lower-class characters. Michael.
Malapropisms.
Very good.
Oh!
Well, good answer.
Right answer.
Correct.
You all wanted to say
I've got about 3 paragraphs on it. Okay. Question 9. This artist would get an inspiration and start painting. Then I'll forget everything except how things used to be and how to paint it so people will know how we used to live. Despite never seeing a work, This artist's winter paintings are reminiscent of some of the known winter paintings of Peter Bruegel the Elder. This is Ashton.
Grandma Moses.
Is correct. Number 10. This two-word term is an umbrella term for various eating diet plans that cycle between a period of consuming and abstaining. Research is currently ongoing to assess if it can produce... Michael
5-2 dates.
is incorrect.
Wrong.
Gavin
Intermittent fasting.
is correct.
Correct.
5-2 is a
That's
is a variation of it, but intermittent fasting is what I was looking for. Number 11. This novel is dedicated to Philip Larkin, who helped to inspire the main character and contributed significantly to the structure of the novel. Michael.
Lucky Jim.
It is Lucky Jim.
Wow. That's a quick walk back.
Correct.
Well, having Clive Dunning as a friend helps.
Okay, number 12. Raised as a Roman Catholic, this poet became an atheist aged 15, but has spoken of the influence of religion, stating, "Poetry and prayer are very similar." This poet was the first Scot to become poet laureate. Is Ashton.
Alan Duffy.
Is correct. Question 13. This graphic novel was illustrated by David Lloyd with additional art by Tony Weir. Initially published in black and white as an ongoing serial in the short-lived UK anthology Warrior, it morphed into a 10-issue limited series published by DC Comics. The story depicts a dystopian and is Gavin.
V for Vendetta.
Is correct. Question 14. Winchester College headmaster W.F. Oakeshott discovered a previously unknown manuscript copy of this work in June 1934 during the cataloguing of the college's library. Comprising 8 books, the title by which it is now known was that of the 8th book, but was used in its first printing by Thomas Caxton. Alfred Lord Tennyson retold legends from this work in the poetry volume Idylls of the King. Michael.
Mort Arthur.
Is correct. Question 15. This monument was designed by Finnish-American architect Eero Saarinen in 1947. Construction began on February 12, 1963 and was completed on October 28, 1965 at an overall cost of $13 million. The cross-section of its legs are equilateral triangles, narrowing from 54 feet per side at the bases. Steve.
St. Louis Arch.
Is correct, yeah, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis. Question 16. This artist took for his inspiration the art of Rubens and painters of the Venetian Renaissance, with an intended emphasis on colour and movement rather than clarity of outline and carefully modelled form. Dramatic and romantic content characterised the central themes of his maturity and led him not to the classical models of Greek and Roman art, but to travel in North Africa in search of the exotic. He was also inspired by Lord Byron, with whom he shared... Is Amit.
Henri Rousseau.
Is incorrect. With whom he shared a strong identification with the forces of the sublime, of nature in often violent action. As a painter and muralist, his use of expressive brushstrokes and his study of the optical effects of colour profoundly shaped the work of the Impressionists. Regarded from the outset of his career as the leader of the French Romantic school, named this French artist whose most well-known work is probably Liberty Leading the... Michael.
David.
Is incorrect.
Wrong.
Andrew.
Delacroix.
Is correct. 17. To the annoyance of her cat, a kindly lady allows a bird, a dog and a frog who've helped her retrieve things she's lost to ride. Ashton.
Him on the broom.
Is correct. 18. The total numbers of speakers of this language is estimated to be 45 to 60 million people worldwide. It belongs to the northeastern Iranian group of the Indo-Iranian branch of languages and is the second largest regional language of Pakistan. Is Carl.
Pashtun.
Is correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Yeah.
Broke me down.
19. This grape variety was estimated in 2004 to be the world's 7th most grown grape at 142,600 hectares. It can be found throughout the globe, from France to the New World wine regions such as Chile, South Africa, Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, California and Washington. The wines that made this grape famous were those from Hermitage, the hill above the town Tan-l'Hermitage in northern Rome. This grape was introduced into Australia in 1832 by James Busby, and it is Amit.
Shiraz.
Is correct. And number 20. At the east end of this location is the emotive sculpture of the Mater della Rosa by John Bridgman. The interior is notable for its huge tapestry, once thought to be the world's largest, of Christ, designed by Graham Sutherland. Also worthy of note, and Ashton is correct. St Michael's Cathedral, Coventry. So we have Ashton with 10, Michael with 8, and then Gavin and Jack on 4, Steve and Andrew on 3, and Carl on 2. And everybody else has not scored. So, Ashton. So, we have music incorporating pop, jazz, classical and radio. Number 1. While commercially successful, this album also drew criticism for containing new versions of all of the songs from the group's already much remixed hit singles from over the same year, as well as a surfeit of cover versions in lieu of much new original material. Among these cover versions were Born to Run and Do You Know the Way to San Jose. Chris Barry also performed impersonations of Prince Charles and Ronald Reagan. Name this album released is Brendan.
Welcome to the Pleasure Dome.
Is
by
correct.
You know.
Correct.
Okay, number 2. This musical features music and lyrics by Robert Lopez and Jeff Marks. The show employs a real-life celebrity as a fictional... Steve.
Avenue Q.
Is correct.
Correct.
Good God.
Gary Coleman.
Ever was a little bit racist.
Yes.
We got that.
It explores issues such as sexuality, racism and pornography.
Yes, I am.
Number 3.
Boom.
It's text message.
Right, okay. Number 3. This English psychedelic rock band took their name from their lead singer. He quickly earned a reputation for both his powerful operatic voice, which spanned 4 octaves, and his outlandish performances, including the use of a burning metal helmet. Steve.
Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
I am the god of hellfire! He's correct!
What are we talking about that?
We're talking about
About half an hour ago.
I
Yes.
just want to go a little bit earlier on that, if the helmet did it.
Best known for the million-selling single that begins with the line, I am the god of hellfire and I bring you. Jolly good. Okay, question 4. This ballet was the first of Sergei Diaghilev's Ballet Russ's productions to have an all-original score composed for it. The ballet centres on the journey of its hero, Prince Ivan, who chases and captures the title character. She later assists him to defeat the villain Koshkai the Immortal. When first performed at the Opera de Paris, is Amit.
Swan League.
Is incorrect. Is
Wrong.
Ashton.
Firebird.
Is correct.
Correct.
Damn you, Ashton.
Number 5. The B-side of this band's first single was a fast-paced version of the Beatles' Help. This band were the first punk rock band from the United Kingdom to release a single, New Rose, in 19... No! Steve Lacey.
Damned.
Is correct.
Damn you, Steve Lacey! That'll teach me to keep my hand away from that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Casual.
Question 6. This radio station was the UK's first licensed commercial radio station, beginning broadcasting on Monday the 8th of October 1973. The original station spawned a number of stars who went on to become household names in the British media. They is Brendan.
Capital.
Is incorrect.
Oh, thank you, Brendan.
You're welcome, everybody.
Michael
I'm not making it.
is incorrect.
Well, maybe.
Wrong.
He said Luxembourg, which is incorrect. They include Adrian Love, John Snow, Peter Allen and Rosie Boycott. The station claims to be the first radio station in the world to provide full-length podcasts for all its major shows. Plus is Jack.
LBC.
Is correct. This band's debut album, Room on the Third Floor, Andrew.
McFly.
Is correct.
Again, you see, I'm not-
Correct.
We played this before.
I've got to keep my hands away from it, you know.
Question 8. The wild dogs cry out in the night as they... Brendan.
Africa by Toto.
Is correct. Couldn't get
Correct.
Kids in America, but you're very good
Oh,
at
bite me.
You did get it? Yeah.
I got it in the end when he started singing.
Eventually. Okay. This singer's real name is Peter Jean Hernandez. Oh, bloody hell.
Bruno Mars.
It's very good, yes. I thought that was quite obscure. I didn't know his real name was that, but there we are. Clearly lots of people did. My bad. Okay, question 10. Before he turned 2, he was part of his parents' vaudeville act, but on breaks he would sneak into the orchestra pit and try to get to the drummer's sticks. He was on Broadway as Baby Traps the Drum Wonder at age 4, playing Stars and Stripes Forever on a drum. In his teens, he led a band and toured in the US and Australia. Michael
Stuart Copeland.
is incorrect. Brendan
Bloody
Wrong.
wretch.
is correct.
Nifty
Correct.
thing to click. Bloody hell.
Question 11. Talking about this song, the performer said, I remember I did some promotion in this place north of Madrid, and when I was doing the track I saw everybody doing this thing and they all jumped at the same time. Is Michael
Macarena.
is incorrect.
Oh, so wanted to impress
Simon.
I
Wrong.
was Macarenaing as well, I'm afraid. So.
Oh,
I'm going for
Stick.
something. Saturday night.
is correct.
Yes!
Saturday Night by Wigfield.
All out at the same time as well, weren't they, more or less?
Okay. Question 12. This musical was broadcast live on NBC on the 1st of April 2018. It went on to win an Emmy and so created 3 new members of the EGOT Club. The musical tells the story of the last week of life of its title character. Is Simon.
Hamilton.
Is incorrect.
Worst answer ever.
Amit
Wrong.
Dear Evan Hansen.
is incorrect.
Wrong.
This role was played by John Legend. He became the first black man to achieve EGOT status. The other 2 have won awards individually for A Whole New World from Aladdin and Phantom of the Opera, and together for Evita. Name this Tim Rice, Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Brendan
Jesus Christ Superstar.
is correct.
Wanted to come in hours ago.
What did you say, 2018?
It was
Correct.
broadcast on NBC,
Ah,
and so
yeah.
they got the Emmy, which made they got the EGOT because they got the Emmy, Grammy.
For 3
Oscar
new
and
members
Tony.
of that club is quite
So, yeah,
something,
so
isn't it?
all
There's
3
only
of them got
12
it from
before,
the
they're now
same.
15, didn't they?
Yeah, oh, you see. I saw that
I
last
wanted
year. I
it for
thought
the
it
last
was a really
7
good
days of
story.
his life, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you. Number 13. This song was inspired by a girl the singer had met at his church and community events and had developed a crush on. Recorded in May 1957 at Don Costa Studio in New York City, it was is Andrew.
Diana.
Is very good.
Wow, what an answer.
Correct.
Paul Anka, first Canadian to be number 1. 14. The piece is in the overall key of B minor. The simple theme begins slowly and quietly in the lowest registers of the orchestra, played first by the cellos, double basses and bassoons. After being started, the main theme is then very slightly modified with a few different ascending notes, but transposed up a perfect fifth to the key of F sharp major, the dominant key. Steve
Rebels Bolero.
is incorrect,
Wrong.
but with a flattened sixth, and played on different instruments. The 2 groups of instruments then move in and out of different octaves until they eventually collide with each other at the same pitch. The tempo gradually speeds up to a prestissimo finale, and the music itself becomes increasingly loud and frenetic. Amit
1812 Overture.
is not correct, I'm sorry. No.
Wrong.
Name this piece of orchestral music composed by Edward Grieg is Ashton.
The Hall of Mountain King.
Is correct.
I feel your
Correct.
first kind of 2 sentences could apply to a lot of pieces of music.
So it was stupid to buzz in.
Yeah, I agree. My bad.
None of which was reversed below.
15. This song shares its name with a collection of short stories by Nell Dunn, first published in 1963, although the band state that the title phrase was lifted from the 1965 TV play version of the work, directed by Ken Loach. The song is Steve.
The Junction.
Is very good.
Oh, nice.
16. The 18th series of this show, running from April to May 2006, was the first Radio 4 comedy series to be made available on podcast. This is Steve.
I'm sorry, I haven't a clue.
Is incorrect. The series is a successor to the early 90s topical comedy show The Mary Whitehouse Experience, although its origins lie with the short-lived Live on Arrival from 1988. The programme first aired on the 26th of September 1998. Name this Radio 4 show a satirical look at the week's news is Steve Lacey.
News Quiz.
Is incorrect.
Wrong.
Containing a mixture of stand-up, sketches and songs. Simon.
Mock the Week.
No.
Wrong.
Hosted by Steve Punt and Hugh Dennis. Question over.
Every single one of us has heard that programme loads
It's
of
called
times.
The Now Show. Question 17. This band regularly play a cover of Bohemian Rhapsody at their live shows and featured on the soundtrack album of Suicide Squad performing it. Currently performing their current album Pray for the Wicked on tour, the last remaining member of the band is Brendan Urie. Is Jack?
Panic at the Disco.
Is correct. He's just released, guesting on Taylor Swift's new single. That's
I've seen
from
him and
yesterday.
do Bohemian Rhapsody when I saw him.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm
You're the best live
surprised.
singer I've ever seen as well. Great.
Okay. Question 18. Well, I hadn't seen your face around town a while, so I greeted Brendan.
That is Wham, and it's Bad Boys.
Is incorrect.
Alex.
Carl.
Young Guns Go For It.
Wrong.
It is Young Guns. 19. This singer won the Outstanding Contribution to Music Award at the 2019 Brit Awards. In 2015, she received the BMI President's Award for her outstanding achievement in songwriting and global impact on pop culture and the entertainment industry. Recognised for her distinctive raspy voice and acrobatic stage presence, she sold over 90 million records worldwide. Is Carl.
Kate Bush.
Is incorrect.
Raspy voice.
Wrong.
Making her one of the world's best-selling music artists. If you haven't got the answer by now, say what? Amit.
Pink.
Is correct. It's time to get this party started and name this singer.
Correct.
Oops. Reset. Thank you.
No.
Neg.
And question 20. No one would have believed that Liam Neeson could replace Richard Burton, or that Michael... Brendan.
Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
Is correct, yes. Or that Michael Praed could replace Justin Hayward. Few men even considered Daniel Bedingfield could replace David Essex and Jimmy Nail could replace Phil Lynott. But yet minds immeasurably superior to ours decided to mess with a good thing. This is what Jeff Wayne did when reimagining the 78 album and produced it as a West End show.
Thank you. What a great set, yeah?
And we have Brendan with 8, Andrew with 6,
Oh, despite the neg.
Ashton and Jack with 4, Steve Lacey with 3, Steve Kidd with 2, and Carl with 1. Amit with a -1, Michael with a -3 and Simon with a -3.